workshop. If you saw the previous video, you'll have seen that the Nissan has actually failed the MOT, so we've got a little bit of work to do. I've got to first get the front bumper off so I can have a look at the washer jet. Got to get the rear wheels off and have a look at the handbrake and see if I can free that up a little bit. So it's basically just starting to seize on and rust a little bit. He also said the disc was starting to rust a little bit, so I've got to try and clean the rust up on those. I'm trying to source some replacements, but they seem to be a bit like hen's teeth at the moment. Well, parts on this car are getting really rare now. But I'll see what I can do. If I can clean them up, that'd be ideal. But there are new calipers on there, but I'm just going to re-grease everything. I've got some PTFE spray coming, so I'm going to spray the handbrake cables and get that all cleaned up as well. And I also want to put the replacement throttle body that I've got, because I think that's sticking a little bit. The cable seems to be free, well, again, I'll lube that cable up, but the actual throttle seems to be sticking and the revs are going up and down. But again, that could be the air intake, so I'm going to have another look at that. But I've got 10 working days to actually get all this work done before the MOT space runs out. So you get 10 days to actually get your car back in, and then they don't charge you again for the MOT. So I've got a little bit of leeway to actually get this work done. So really I want to try and get as much of this done as I can today. So first things first, then I'm going to get the back end up in the air, get the wheels off, get the front bumper off, and basically see what I can get done today. But I also did notice when it was rubbing on this side, don't know if you noticed in the video, I was getting a little bit of rubbing. The camber on this wheel is pretty much straight and this wheel is a little bit lower. So I'm going to try and put a little bit of camber into this wheel and bring it in a little bit, and it should clear that lip so I don't get much rubbing on this side. But this side's not as low. I think that suspension's probably worn a little bit on that side, so I might just see if I can do a bit of a homemade alignment sort of thing on it, check all the camber, etc. But this doesn't rub on this side, but this side's slightly higher, but then that side would wear more because my fat arse is in there, so it's probably going to weigh it down a little bit. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to grab my tools out, get the jack out, and we'll see what work we can do. So the wheels are off, and the bumper's off. I have noticed on travels yesterday that I've caught the front bumper. I think I remember hitting that speed bump a little bit hard yesterday, and it has gashed it a little bit and cracked it, but that's easily fixed. But I want to repaint this front bumper anyway, especially along the top edge. It's starting to crack a little bit, but that's something I can do at a later date. It's going to get battle scarred and marked. Oops. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to have a look at the old washer jet motor. It looks a bit knackered, doesn't it? Wiring all needs reluming, so I'll probably do that as well while I'm at it. But that looks pretty knackered, doesn't it? Look, I get a replacement. Right, okay. I'll see if I can clean it all up and break it all down, and I'll take it from there. But it looks like as if that's knackered. But this is from the ZX, so I think it's twin motors, twin pumps on this. Or maybe it's not, maybe it's just a single pump. Maybe this is from the Nissan. I don't know if I still got the old one. I'll have a look in my spares box, my spares garage, and see if I've got the old one. Might have another motor I could just swap over. That'd be the easiest way, I think. I have to drain all the fluid out again though. It's going to be a bit of a waste. I wonder if I could catch it in a pot or something. Probably could. Need to clean up all under here as well. That thing's clean, it's all getting a bit dirty. And again, like I said, I'm going to adjust the camera on this. I'll try and do a makeshift camera adjustment. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go and grab some lunch because I'm absolutely starving, and then I'm going to have a look for my spares because I'm pretty sure I kept the old one of these. It'd be ideal if I did. If I've got the motor, I might just swap the motors over. Okay, so I'm going to do that first, I think. I've been through my spares box, took me about 40 minutes or so, and success. I found the one off the ZX. Again, these motors do look a little bit corroded, so I'm going to whip these off, give them a bit of a bench test and clean them up, and hopefully they work. If not, I'm going to get on line tonight, see if I can find one or a similar sort of thing, probably from an N14. It'd probably fit, be a little bit newer, a 90s car instead of an 80s car. But I'm glad I kept this. This is for the rear wash wipe as well, which it hasn't got on this, of course. Okay, so I'm going to pop the motors off of this, give them a bit of a clean up. So I just plugged the motor into the loom and tested it, and it works fine. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clean this up a little bit, give it a coat of paint, I think, just to try and keep some of the rust at bay. And then we're going to have to try and swap it over without losing too much fluid. So I'm going to get this on the bench in the workshop now and, like I say, give it a coat of paint. So while I'm waiting for the paint to dry, I've actually removed the throttle body from the intake here. I'm going to swap that over to the new one in a minute. First, I'm going to see if I can drain the fluid. I'm just going to pop the pipe off here. Get it all as much as I can into this pot. And then I'll put the motor off and put the new one on, and the paint's dry on that. It shouldn't take long, it's quick drying paint. It's like a hammered finish paint I've used on there. It's only going to get to a certain level, I suppose, and then when I pop that, the rest of it will come out, the motor, I suppose. Try not to waste it if I can help it. The reservoir's all drained. That's a nice blue Kool-Aid. Put the motor back in, a nice new one. Well, I say new one, reconditioned one. I just cleaned it up and painted it a little bit. I am going to see if I can get a brand new one actually online. Something from an N14, but if you look, MOT pass on that part anyway. So I'm going to put all this back together, give it a good clean up, and then we're going to have a look at the handbrake. So as you can see, the old motor is pretty much knackered, fell apart pretty much as I took it out. So that can go now in the bin. So before I get on with the rear brakes, I'll just show you the throttle body. I did notice the actual adjustment screw here was too high, so the actual throttle was open just a fraction, probably about like that. So that's probably why the revs are too high. So that other throttle body hasn't been messed about with at all. So hopefully that should cure that little problem. But I've got to make a new gasket, so I'm going to do that as well in a minute. TPS will probably need readjusting as well. There's a little bit of dirt in there as well. Yes, another one is in a lot better condition. This one was off of the original DET plenum I actually bought. Then I got another one which is a bit newer, and I think I'm going to put that one on. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so I digress. So I'm going to get on now with the rear brakes. So I don't know if you can see, they're in pretty good condition because it's all been rebuilt. The calipers are all rebuilt, it needs a clean. I could do with some new bolts actually. So I might even look at that. So I'm going to pop the caliper off and see if I can clean that up a little bit, and see if I can lubricate the handbrake cable. See if I can grease that up a little bit. But it seems to be, handbrake's off now, it seems to be quite good. Seems to spin quite freely, but he also said the brake discs were rusty, probably on the back inside here. Hello! Hello, who's this then? Hello! What's that then? Anyway, so after a little visit from Woody, like I was saying, I'm going to you're saying the brake discs are rusty, probably like I say at the back, so if I can get new ones I will probably swap these over. But there's plenty of meat left on them, I think. I'm going to see if I can clean them up a little bit, because I think you have to take the actual, if I remember rightly, you have to take the main bolt out, the hub bolt, and then the disc come off. But these are the original discs. I think I was having problems trying to find them last time when I rebuilt the car, but they weren't in as rusty condition then. They were quite good. But I'll see if I can clean them up a little bit. A wire brush, bit of paint. I'm going to get the calipers off now, and just hang them up out of the way with a tie wrap up here. Remove the handbrake cable off the catch and see if I can grease all that off. Okay, so I've basically taken the caliper off. As you can see here, I've removed the cable from the clamp here just by unbolting the clamp bracket. I'm going to give that a bit of a clean up as well, a wire brush, and give that a coat of paint. Let's put that back on there for now. Just keep it out of the way. And the cable seems pretty free, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to give it a spray with some GT85. It's pretty good, this stuff. It's on a par with WD-40, but this has PTFE in it, so it should hopefully help with the actual cable moving backwards and forwards and coat the cable where WD-40 sort of dries out a little bit. Pull the rubber back out of the way. You can see this on camera. Try to work around the camera. I'm just going to spray and give it a shake. And the actual soak it down there, let it run in a bit. So it's pretty free anyway. But I think the actual handbrake lever was too tight. So I did say I was going to adjust it on the MOT checks video, but I never did. And I'm also going to use the Nissan rear brake caliper adjustment tool, and I'm going to wind the rotor, or the piston I should say, I'm going to wind the piston out as close as I can to the pads with the handbrake cable loose, and then adjust the handbrake cable. Hopefully that should get this working better. I'm also going to try and sand all these up and try and give them a coat of paint. It says they're rusting on the back, but they're not bad really. I've seen worse, hell of a lot worse. But like I said, I'm trying to get some new discs, but they're proving a little bit thin on the ground, but I can keep shopping for those. Give that a bit of a wipe as well while we're here. I'll give it all a bit of a clean as well while we're here. While we've got it all apart. Okay, so I'm just going to test that now. So I think you saw they were working fine, and I've just sprayed the spring up as well. And that seems to be nice and free. I'm going to put some copper grease on that as well. That seems to be working nice. So, right now, I'm going to get my tool to wind these out. See if that will go on. Yeah, still plenty there. I'll wind that forward a bit more. Okay, so this side's all back together now. It's a bit of a pain getting the spring back in, but it does seem a lot looser now. I've actually given it a good coat of grease. That's actually sitting on the exhaust there, which I'm not very happy about. Wire there. So maybe also when that tightens that up, I might bring that up actually, because I've loosened it right off. But we'll cross that bridge later. That goes on there actually, like so. Give it a bit of a clean. So I'm going to get it through the MOT, and then I'm going to see if I can't get any discs. Then I'll clean all these up and paint them all, strip it all down and clean them all up, paint it. Same as the calipers, give them a fresh coat of paint. That's right, so now I'm going to get onto the other side and see if we can do the same. So both sides are rebuilt. Seem to be nice and free now. I'm going to put the handbrake on. Solid, and that's about 4 clicks. I don't know what the MOT passes. I think it's probably about 4 or 5. I think the lever's not all the way up. Oh. Now it's stopped working. What the hell's happening there? Okay, so it's the next day, and I was having a lot of problems yesterday afternoon trying to get that handbrake to actually even move properly. So I've decided to actually remove the entire handbrake cables, give them a real good clean up, real good lubricate, put some PTFE spray through them and see if I can get them to actually release properly. So that's the plan. I also noticed while I was under the car, because I've got the car right up in the air now, is the exhaust mount in the centre has actually, the rubbers have actually sheared through. So I've got that to do as well, so that's another job to add to the list. So it's early morning now, so hopefully I'll be able to get quite a bit done today. So I'm going to grab my tools and see what I can do. So I've got one side off and I've sprayed some PTFE in it. It seems to be moving quite easily. So now, I guess you can see it moves quite freely. So I'm going to use a little bit of Everyman oil or Castrol just to drop down the actual wire. See if that loads it up a little bit. Get as much oil in as I can. Protect them a little bit. Okay. So I've got this to do on this one. I'll clean all the actual cable outer up and lubricate all the rubbers and do the other side. So they've had a really good soak now. It feels so much better. No grittiness. Really nice and smooth. So what I'm going to do now is refit them. I'm going to refit them from the hub back, and then we'll attach them to the joiner underneath the car. So I've got all the cables back in, running all nice and neat. Now I've just got to you can see this on camera. Put my torch on as well. So I've just got to align the two brackets there with that. Hope you can see that. There you go. The piece there. That lines them up. Keeps them square, so they should get equal. Pulling on both sides now. So I'm going to do that next, off camera of course, because I can't do it all with one hand. And hopefully, when I've adjusted the actual handbrake lever, that should work. Not too bad under here. Some of the bolts need replacing still. I'll have to do all that. Some nice stainless ones on. Braided lines look all nice still. Brake pads look alright. A little bit of surface rust there. So I have to put some more under seal on that bit, I think. Okay, anyway, I digress. I'll crack on with that now. So it's all back together and it seems to work perfect now. It's spinning nicely. Needs bedding in a little. And then the cable in here. It's just got a little bit of adjustment there. A couple of clicks. Yep, solid as a rock. Perfect. So like I said before, I'm going to worry about refurbing the actual discs after the MOT when I've got a little bit more time, and I'll repaint the actual calipers, etc. I'm still going to see if I can get new discs. If I can't, then I think these will stand up nicely. Plus, once they've bedded in now, the brakes are going to be working a little bit better. It should clean them up a little bit. So that's those first two jobs done. So the next major job is going to be the throttle body and trying to get the exhaust mount in the centre to basically reattach. I think I'm going to have to make some sort of solid bracket for that, but that's going to be in the next video, so this video is probably going to be quite a long one now. So hopefully you'll join me in part 2 of MOT repairs. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Stay tuned for more content, and I'll see you on the next one.